you're a boy, right?
No, I'm a girl.
Who told you you're a girl?
What?
Mommy,
When did she tell you you were a girl?
'cause I love girls.
What the
Oh,
hell?
I see. So mommy told you you were a girl?
Uh-huh.
The state of California says that I have to pay for the chemical and physical castration of my son as child support.
What?
I'm not going to pay that child support. I'm not going to pay anything to hurt my son.
And that means you'll be going to prison?
California is going to send me to prison for that.
What?
So, Jeff, you are going through something. You've been going
Is
through
this-
something that is probably a father's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Tell me when this started.
Started when my son was about 2 years old. My ex-wife, who's a pediatrician in Capel, Texas, started thinking that he might be a girl.
He's 2 years old.
Of course, kids can make a decision
What?
when they're 2
Holy
years
shit.
And started trying to transition to a girl. And when I tried to put a stop to that, she filed for divorce and used her relationships with care providers to force me out of my house. And so I moved about a mile up the road from my son's.
Oh my
She filed
God.
for divorce formally. And I had 50-50 custody.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
took that away.
And just after his third birthday, you know, I took the first iPhone video I'd ever taken. And
That
it
was
was
the
him
video.
telling me that he thought he was a girl because his mommy tells him a girl. You can go on YouTube and just search for "mommy says I'm a girl." You'll find that video.
That is grooming, man. Like, how is a parent trying to, like, groom their kid into being trans at 2 and 3 years old? That's insane. This is crazy. Her in jail. Yes, this is nuts. Look at the video now. It was the beginning of this. Like, just, like, go back, like, literally 1 minute in the VOD and you'll see it. This is nuts.
Yeah.
The reason why this is crazy to a lot of people is because they don't understand that evil comes through the woman. That's what happens. Not sure how this guy get into this situation. He wasn't careful on the woman he picked. He picked a woman. He didn't let her come to him. So I understand why he's going through this now, and he has no one to blame but himself. But the more you fight for this kid, the more she's gonna destroy you. But let's continue the video.
She was telling him things like, you know, she would put him into timeout and say, "Don't be a boy. The monsters only eat boys," and weird things like this.
Bro.
That's crazy.
Bro. How
That's
do you
insane.
let this happen? This is insane.
He can't do nothing about it. It's California. And guess what? When you divorce, who's gonna get the kids? The woman. Guess what? The woman knows how to love. It's mama's love. Such bull crap. Just so you know that. A woman that loves her kid is gonna put him in timeout and telling the kid he's not a boy. And you're gonna say that is love? She's listening to the devil. She's evil. And guess what? The boy's gonna conform to what she's saying. And we're gonna see it. I've never seen this video. It just popped up and I'm like, I'm gonna react to this video. But let's see what happened and I'm gonna break it down and show you what's happening here.
Yes, this is straight up wrong. Yes, it is. This is awful. It's not even nuts. She needs to be sent to an asylum as soon as possible. I think that a
Not
lot of
even-
women, like, and this is especially true, I think women fall victim to this more often, is that, like, the social messaging and, like, the moral virtue of being trans, I think, causes women to have, like, so there's a fucking issue, like a mental disorder, it's called Munchausen by proxy, and it's where a parent basically, like, either gets their kid sick or pretends like their kid is really sick in order to basically farm sympathy and farm attention from having this sick kid. And so I view the parents that are, like, grooming kids to be trans as, like, I mean, and again, we're not even talking about, like, 14. We're talking about 2 and 3 years old, okay? You don't even know what gender is yet, really. And like, you're grooming your kid to do this. Like, this is a mental disorder, right? I mean, this woman is... There's something wrong with her, man. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, like straight up, something wrong with her. And it's insane that, like, I can't see anybody who could just not come to this obvious conclusion that she's nuts. Yes, it's insane. He's not two, bro? Well, he was in the video where at the beginning, actually, they said he was 3. So that's not it. Yeah, so he's 3. I think that's a little bit better, right? Let's see here.
Okay, Osman,
And
let's
there is
go.
documentaries and a woman would hospitalize themselves regularly. Yeah, and so that's what happens. And I don't... I'm shocked that people don't, like, put up with this even in a slightest amount. This is crazy. It was 2 whenever she began grooming? Yeah.
But people put up with it. People put up with the LGBTQ, the trans community, everything. Because guess what? Women will go into thoughts, create these feelings, which is from the devil, and she will act out on it. And if she doesn't support the LGBTQ and the transgenderism, they feel like they're not human, or they're not empathetic to each other. But it's just a fake idea of morality and values. It's not real. It's just an idea that they have that was passed down from their mother to them, and they think by doing this action to make someone feel good, by making themselves feel good, because it's all about them and how they feel, and by doing that they get some false self-fulfillment. And this is what's happening in society. It's causing these problems because we're going off emotions of a female, of a woman. And unfortunately, feelings run society. And it's so bad. And it's going to lead to destruction because that's not how it's supposed to be. But let's continue.
According to him, that's true.
And she began to then socially transition him, and that led to a titanic battle in the state of Texas that culminated in me getting the procedures outlawed in
That's
Texas.
crazy.
Good for him.
And the political establishment in Texas allowing her to come to California so she could still castrate him even though I got it outlawed.
See?
And your son, you have 2 sons.
I have 2 sons, James and Jude. They're twins. They're not identical.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
James is the one that she's transitioning.
And was there any sign in James that he was open to this, or showing signs that he wanted to be anything other than...
Well, it's interesting. So he was directly asked that by...
I wonder if the kid that she's trying to transition remind her of the dad, of the father a lot. That'll be interesting to find out.
counselors and stuff. But
How are counselors asking a child what gender they think they are?
Because this is the world we live in, where counselors, psychologists, therapists, they go to school and they're brainwashed by this feminist movement and this transgender thing to convert little kids because it's money, and because they're evil, they don't know any better. They do these kind of crazy things. A kid that does it, that plays with toys, that says he wants to be a fireman, that says he wants to be an air pilot today, that says he wants to be an astronaut tomorrow, that is just living life and being happy. You want to the kid is already traumatized. They want to destroy this kid. That's why I'm wondering, because she resents this guy. Don't know why the mom resents him. Maybe he loves that kid more. I don't know. I'm just saying. I would love to figure out why she's targeting just that one of the boy. I'd love to know. But maybe we'll find out in the video.
What's going on? How is it? This is insane. He's brainwashed. Yeah, also, like, of course you have a kid. Like, if the mom is sitting there this is like you have kids that are like radical, religious people, right? Like kids that are like hyper racist. If you have a 5-year-old that's hyper racist and they know a bunch of racial slurs, they didn't spawn in that way, man. They had a little bit of help.
Yeah, but racism doesn't exist.
let me just tell you about one of the fundamental facts of the case
It's the
that
parents,
a lot of people
yeah.
find shocking. James never presented as a girl with anyone but his mom.
Interesting.
At church.
Because he wanted to make her happy. Because she would like whenever he would act like a girl. That's probably what happened.
I'm glad he came to that conclusion by himself already. It's very true because growing up, the kid would get body to body love from the mom, right? And the kid wants that because now, by the mom doing body to body love to that kid, is making the kid emotional. And maybe when you're younger, you can protest to this or see kids in your real day to day life does this. When they're young, it's given to them. And when they grow to a certain age, maybe like 2, 3, 4, 1, you give it to them and they don't want it. They keep pulling away, but you keep imposing your will onto them. And by doing that, and you're not getting it back, you give it to them either way. And because you want it back from the kid is now like, oh, the kid now feels sorry for the mom or whoever is doing it to them, and they start giving it back. They start giving back that love out of guilt and resentment. They don't like it, but because you like it, they do it either way, which cause a problem because that boy or that girl is gonna grow up and look for that love that is not real. It's fake. It's hate because it's resentment that turns into this feeling that we call love, but it's not love. And because the mom is probably not giving the kid that love, because if he doesn't say he's a girl, he's not gonna get the love. So now he's gonna do it, that same thing that the mom wants, out of resentment and guilt, just because he wants that motherly love from his mother, which is totally diabolical, evil, pure evil coming out of the woman. And I would like to know why. I know she's evil and she's in thoughts, but I would want to think that she's doing it to get back to the dad because the dad probably loves that kid's more than the other. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point, which I shouldn't do. But I would really love to know why she's doing this.
With me, with his friends, he dressed as a boy and called himself James. He only presented as a girl with his mom.
Because he wants mother's love.
And
He wants mother's love. Mother's love is such good love. And look what the mother's love is doing to this kid. Destroying the kid. Destroying the kid. And people say, oh, it's mother's love. It's mother's love, all right. She get her love from the devil.
I asked him one time, why are you doing that? And he just flat out told me, he said, well, mommy doesn't love me if I'm not a girl.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, well, there it is. It's just like
That's
I said.
crazy.
I mean, a lot of these
That's
women are
crazy.
just fucking insane.
That's
And
crazy.
I don't know really how it gets to this extreme. Like, I'm not sure, like, is it something where, like, what's her relationship with the other kid, right? Her other son. You know, like, what's the relationship with this? Is it because, like, this is somehow like a you know, like she's getting a divorce, so now she hates all men and she doesn't want to be around men, so she's making her young boy son a girl? Like, I don't know. Is she doing this for, like, social validation? Like, I always wonder about that. Like, why does a person do this?
And that's what he told the counselors too. James is a very talented boxer.
By the way, this is the reason why people call it a woke mind virus. This is, like, straight up a perversion of the mind. If you are looking to defend this in any way, shape, or form, you have completely lost the plot. You are totally out of your f***ing mind. This is not acceptable. It's not okay. This is creepy, weird. This is child grooming. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. These are children. And we're not even talking about 16 again. We're talking about, you know, they're not even in school yet. It's deranged. Yeah, it's an accessory to these people. Yeah.
I'm a
Just to touch on Hosman go a point there. Well, you have to understand that it's not a flesh and blood battle, but it's against principality and spirits. It's passed down from her mother. It's hate, because she would marry this man, say, "Oh, I love my husband." She didn't love him, because if she loved him, why are they divorced? Why do they hate each other now? Why is she trying to destroy this man's kid? He touched on a great point that now she hates man, but she have always hate man because she hates the man for the weakness that he has, and he wasn't able to lead her properly because him himself was probably, I'm guessing at this point, which I shouldn't do, but from what I'm seeing here is he would give her body to body love, just like what his mom taught him, and just like what he did to get it back from the woman, and the woman see that he is a female trying to get the same love. He's giving her the emotional, all this kind of soft love just so he can get it back in return, so he can self-satisfy himself. And even though the woman give it to him, think it would satisfy him, he can never satisfy him because he gonna consistently wants it. And the woman ended up getting tired of it, and now she resents and hates him for his weakness. So she's probably doing it to get back at him. It's crazy.
Boxer, my dad was a boxer. James is extremely talented. Jude's a wrestler, but James is a very talented boxer. Olympic talent scouts were looking at him. He's that good.
Good for him.
And they backed away from him once this all got started. He has all boy friends.
Yeah, sure.
Now, he has some things that you might say are feminine. He likes art. He particularly likes painting and pastels. My
Right.
son Jude likes sculpture, you know. James is also more extroverted. And
So this is why he's a girl. Is because he likes art and painting. Uh-huh.
is willing to play with almost
Sure.
anybody, you know. And he will definitely play with girls. He'll play tag
Yeah.
with girls. He'll build things with girls. He has no problem like hanging around with girls. But in terms of having a desire to be a girl, he consistently told me for 10 years that he had no desire to be a girl. He told the court-appointed counselor that he was embarrassed to wear dresses to school. He was getting too
Whoa.
That's crazy. He would wear a dress to school.
old for that and didn't want to wear dresses. And they initiated a
man.
CPS investigation against me for forcing him to be a boy. And my
Bro. It is the states of California.
Average divorced dad experience. Yep, well there it is. Oh my god. How does this happen? Do you remember what I said before, guys? There's two groups of people in the world that are causing all of our problems, and the main one is Karens.
No, it's just women in general.
That's it.
CPS investigation.
100%.
I was telling
Are
you
you in
guys.
contact with your sons now?
No, I'm disallowed all contact with my sons.
You're not allowed to even contact them.
No.
Wow.
I'll tell you how this all
That's
sort of
crazy.
built up.
Wow.
So, she started transitioning.
But if you love them, you will let them go. They will find their way back to you. Because when they grow up and truly understand how evil and diabolical their mother was, I hope they don't end up resenting her, but just forgive her because she knows no better. She can't help herself. She is crazy.
Positioning him, you know, really hardcore at 3. I mean, where she presented him to the world with a fake girl's name and everything.
Bro, how is every single person in the country not immediately saying this woman needs to have the kid taken away from her? This
When was
is
this?
yeah, put her in jail. This is sexual grooming. This is sick.
This, of course, would have been an important component
Yeah.
in the divorce that was going on.
Of course.
So we get to 2017, and we have our divorce trial. And we had a custody evaluator. His name is Blake Mitchell. He practices out of Frisco, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas.
Okay.
And he asked me, what is your top issue? And I said, my top issue is she's tampering with my son's gender identity.
Yeah.
So he charges me $60,000
That's
and does
crazy.
a 1-year investigation of my family, interviewing my children over and over again, everything, and determines that she was not transitioning my son to a girl.
Bro. I wonder how he came to that conclusion for $60,000.
straight up lied to the court and said that I had made a false accusation against her for saying that she was trying to transition my son to a girl. And on that basis, I lost 50.
Well, I mean, couldn't they just cross-reference it with him saying this to the, like, this is crazy. What the
50 custody and got less than standard possession time. So I basically got, 4 to 6 days a month with my sons. So
Just wanted to
that's how the
discuss
divorce
money.
ended, with the psychologist just outright lying. Now,
Tell you about these feminist brainwashed people that go to school. They can't help you. They just want your money. They can't help you in not one bit. Don't take my advice for it. See it for yourself. You go to psychologists for 20, 50 years, and you're still the same way when you went in there. Because you keep identifying with the same issues. They don't give you any solution, just pills, and get you to talk about yourself and identify with the same spirit that have been with you for so long since you were a kid. That's crazy.
been lucky with these psychologists that lie. I've been able to prove they've lied, so the court actually
Nice.
set aside his report. But
And he's not in jail? That's crazy.
This is insane.
Insane. It is crazy. But
Revoke his license?
people are crazy.
Yeah, yeah. If he lied,
You should be in jail.
that's what he actually told the court in his report.
exactly.
So she then starts really ramping up it again, and now
Yeah.
he's wearing makeup at school. He's
Oh boy.
I didn't miss from the start of the video. She hates this guy, and the only way to get back at him is to destroy the son that he loves the most. And she's gonna use that kid to destroy this guy because he loved that kid, and in the process, she's destroying the kid for her own selfish, egotistic, prideful self. That false proclaimed self that she have identified with for so long. I don't know what this guy did to her, but he upsets her. He did upset her a lot. Don't know why, but you go and you pick your woman, you chase after her, and this is what you get. You didn't let it happen naturally. You fall for the
using the girl's
beauty,
restroom
but
at
the
his
beast is
elementary
in the
school.
art.
What the teachers let this happen? The teachers are enabling this? Oh my god. It's California?
It is California.
This is insane. I don't even know what to say. How is this even real?
Welcome to the world.
Which was
As
Pinkerton
my
Middle
goal.
School in Capel, Texas. I got that school shut down. That school doesn't exist anymore in Capel. They shut down. Got rid of the principal there. Her name is
What?
Miss Mickelson, who's the one that really transitioned my son.
So it's another Karen.
Told you a woman evil comes through the woman. 100%.
What is happening? What the fuck?
100%.
I don't even know.
And I found out
It's a Karen coalition. It is.
No, it's just women.
It is. They were in Texas. I guess so. I feel horrible for this man. Yes. Oh my god. That's in Texas or California? They were in Texas, and then after Texas seemingly wasn't putting up with it, then they
out after 2.5 years, they had been transitioning my
Bro,
son
nagging.
secretly behind my back. So I would bring my son to Pinkerton Middle School in Capel in boys' clothes, because he wears boys' clothes with me, and they would give him a dress.
and the entire school got shut down for this.
As
What
as
the
it
actual
should.
fuck?
As it should.
This is crazy.
As it should.
This is insane. Social conscious is a massive problem if real. I feel like, I generally, I mean, if the school got shut down, the court denied this, I feel like there's got to be some truth in this, right? I mean, like, because this is like multiple points of reference where it's confirmed. There are court reports public, it's real? Yeah. Okay, so there's public court reports of this.
And tell him to use the girls' bathroom.
So wait a minute. So he's being groomed by school administrators to go into the bathroom of the other gender? Oh my God. How are these people not in jail? This is insane.
I understand.
Really, this is crazy.
And when I found that out, I filed grievances against
Yeah,
the
that's a
public
good
school.
idea.
And of course, they exonerated themselves, saying that under their nicknames policy, they're allowed to call him whatever he wants.
That's true, but what about the dress? And what about the bathrooms?
And they're allowed to put him in dresses because he wants to wear it and it doesn't harm him in any way. And so there was just no place to go. It's virtually impossible in Texas to sue a
Mama's
school district
love.
because they have sovereign immunity.
Why?
So this kept ramping up with my ex-wife.
See, the problem of why this happens is that the individual teachers that are doing this don't get held accountable for, like, basically child grooming, which is, I think, what should happen. And this is the reason why this kind of stuff propagates so much, is that there's like an administrative bureaucracy for this that kind of enables these people to just do awful stuff. They aren't allowed to force and supersede parental rights. Yeah, and so anyway, sue the teachers. Yes, exactly. And well, you don't sue them; you hold them criminally responsible for doing this.
Jail time.
That's the way that you solve this problem. I'm a very big believer in individual personal accountability that directly affects the person that is doing the action. I think that's how you solve a problem. Because if there's no real consequence for this, it just happens.
It's gonna happen
But
again.
the moment that it's kind of like, for example, do you remember what I was saying about how like all the polls were saying that like Kamala Harris would win, but then everybody who was betting on it said Trump would win? Well, people have a very more realistic view of the world the moment that they have any money in the game, they have any skin in the game. So the way that you solve this problem is that you make people accountable directly for what they're doing. And that makes this go away instantaneously. And
I don't think that will solve the problem, but it will get people to think about what they're going to do, and it will happen less, but it won't necessarily solve the problem, right? But if you do it, there's consequences, right?
so everybody is always willing to have these high-minded, weird ideals because they never have to suffer any consequences for them. But the moment that you add in consequences, this stuff immediately falls apart. So in my opinion, I think that the mom and I think the teachers that were found to be cooperating with and encouraging the student to go in the opposite gender bathrooms, I think that they need to be brought up on some form of criminal charge. Personally. Because that's what they've done. And that's the real solution for something like this. And you punish them directly. You make an example out of them as an individual, because shutting down the school, they just go work somewhere else. It doesn't really affect their life in the same way that a sex charge would. And it should, by the way. It should. This is what should happen. Mom, where's the crime? I think that grooming a child in a sexual way, especially before they even understand sexuality at all, is sexual exploitation of a child. I think that it is, and I think it's disgusting. It is. It's grooming. It's abuse. Yes, exactly. Falls under child abuse? Yes, it is.
So finally, I look in the medical records with
Yeah.
my ex-wife chose a pediatrician, Dr. Jennifer Pape, in Flower Mound, Texas, where I live. And Dr. Pape, in the medical records, it says that her and Miss Georgilis, my ex-wife,
Yeah.
were planning on chemically castrating James at age 8 or 9. That's plain black and white in the medical records.
What the?
So obviously, I start to vociferously oppose this. I try to
See,
get.
this is why does she still have a license, right? Why isn't she in jail?
get a new
This is the problem.
pediatrician. I have to go to court to try to get
Yeah.
a new pediatrician. That leads her to file another lawsuit against me for sole control of James.
So they were at what age were they looking to do this?
At this
That's crazy. You know the amount of money this guy just wasted? Not necessarily wasted, but the woman caused him to waste because he loved his kids. And the woman knows she loved the kid. And she's gonna continually do things to get him emotionally reactive. Just let her do whatever she wants to do to the kid. I know a lot of you may not like what I'm saying, right? But bring it attention to it, but don't fight for the kid or fight for whatever she's doing to not happen, because the more you fight, the more she's gonna destroy the kid, because she resents you. She resents her husband. I don't know what this guy did to her or what happened, but she hates the guts out of him 100%.
at age 8 or 9, they were going to chemically castrate.
It's insane, man. It really is. Like, I've seen some of the
Soft,
stuff that's happened,
white
and
underbelly.
it's unreal that there's anybody putting up with this even for a second. Mother should be stripped of a medical license, lose all custody, and promptly jailed. This is what I think should happen. Like, this is the kind of stuff, in my opinion, that I think, like, the government, and, like, especially even federal government, should look into. Because examples like this are just, I mean,
That's
it's
crazy. She already fled to California. No longer lives under U.S. law.
sick. And the
California's
fact
not
that there's
part
like
of
an
US.
apparatus that's protecting this woman. And the worst part is that not only are they protecting her, they are enabling and like making her more powerful. They're protecting her and enabling her to do this even more. So, did you see the video with the police officer yet? Yeah, I know it's coming up. Don't worry, I'll get to it. And she's a pediatrician. What the f***? Yeah, exactly. And link to the video. It was just it's a Reddit post. I don't know what this is exactly at all. And you see all these people, look at all these reports. Like, these people don't want the truth to get out. It's not. I mean, I don't know why it's so hard to understand. Dude's going to jail for his baby mama's child abuse. Convincing a child is the opposite gender is a form of sexual abuse, ladies and gentlemen. I'll die on this hill and give a fuck. Yeah, well, the thing is that you need to start charging people for it. Because, again, the reason why this stuff happens is because... So let me explain why this happens. I think that a lot of people have these viewpoints and they try to transition. I'm just going to say it. I think that a lot of people try to transition their kids for social points. I think they do. And I actually think it's that simple. They try...
Not really, but I understand what he's saying.
They try to transition their kids for social points, or they do it because this is some ideology and the kid plays along with it because it's a good way for the kid to get attention from the parents, right? And so
That
that's
part
it.
is somewhat true.
And so this happens. You're right about that? Yeah. And this is what Karens do. And I'm sure, guys do this too, but it sure seems like it's primarily women that are pushing this.
Because evil comes through the women. And that's why guys do it, because they've taken on the spirit of their mom as well.
But the point is still the same. It doesn't matter who's doing it. It's bad no matter what. The point is
I
that
agree with that.
that's the reason why it's happening. It's not happening because they really believe it. They're doing it for some kind of approval.
They really, really believe it. 100%. And it's not them. It's the evil inside of them that they have identified with. They can't control themselves because they know no better. You can't control spirits. You can only be aware of it. That's all you can do.
Or some like deep-seated resentment of men or something like that.
That part is
So
true.
yeah, pick me guys. Yeah, probably just mentally ill. Well, regardless of what the reason is, I think that this is my mindset. I think that if you're trying to transition a 3-year-old, you are mentally unfit to be a custodian parent. Period. And that's being generous.
Definitely generous.
Like, it really, I mean, this is not even, like, if you're planning on, doing sex operations on a child at 8 or 9 years old, you are not, you need to have your medical license revoked immediately. I can't even understand where this was. You shouldn't be around children, period. You can't be trusted. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
These pediatricians and psychologists, they're insane.
These people need to be removed from society? Yeah. They want to give them puberty blockers? Yeah, I bet they do. And just because a kid says they want to be a fire truck doesn't mean that we should paint them red. Yeah, well, also, like, and here's the issue, is that a lot of kids, this is what I think happens, is
Let's
that
see.
the parents, and this is what the dad said, is that some of these parents that are so captured by this, like, worldview or ideology, because they're so captured by it, and the kid probably, like, you think about the type of person that gets involved with stuff like this, probably a psychotic, crazy bitch, right? And so, if you're a kid of this parent, well, and this is your mom, you're going to want to go along with what she says so she's nice to you and she doesn't treat you like shit, right? And so, of course, the kids.
That's crazy, right? That's insane. And you're gonna tell me mama loves you? Get out of town.
Are going to voluntarily go along with this because that's the only way that they can be treated nicely by the parent. And I think that this happens, it happens with
Or get some affection. Or so-called proclaim love, which is hate. That's crazy.
religious extremism, it happens with political extremism, it happens with this type of extremism. I think it happens with everything, right?
It does happen with everything, actually.
And it's insane. I probably would have gone along with it too. Yeah, I think a lot of kids would have. And because they don't have the problem, and this is the issue that a lot of kids have, and this is why it's important not to do this kind of stuff to kids, is because they don't have any frame of reference to understand what is the difference between being a man or a woman. They don't get it. They don't even understand it.
They're just living life.
You're taking a complex idea, adult idea of transgenderism, and you're pushing it on a child in a very narrow view from their mind of what makes sense. It's insane.
It is insane.
They don't know any better. They trust their parents are going to do things to their best interest. They can't.
All right, we're going to end the video there.